The echoes of kings and kingdoms have always reverberated through the corridors of history. Tales of power, legacy, and rebellion passed down through generations. Kingdom, directed by Gowtam Tinnanuri, taps into that very spirit. It enters the arena with striking, near flawless filmmaking, but not without reminding us of a few films from recent memory. There's literal gold in Kingdom, and that's not the only reason it brought back memories of Prashant Neel's KGF. Then there's the idea of the one, and that's not the only reason it reminded me of Karthik Subbaraja's Retro. And that's not necessarily a flaw. After all, cinema is built on recurring themes and familiar tropes. Hi, I'm Kairam Vaashi and this is The Hollywood Reporter India.
I think ఈ మట్టిలోనే ఏదో ఉంది మనుషుల్ని కూడా రాక్షసులుగా మార్చేస్తుంది.
The story begins in the coastal belt of Srikakulam in 1920 as a tribe battles against a British force. In what seems to be the first part of a two-part film, Kingdom winds up on the shores of Jaffna, Sri Lanka in 1991, the year India's 7th Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi was assassinated. Throughout its timeline, two things remain consistently excellent. The visuals crafted by Jomon T. John and Girish Gangadharan and Avinash Kolla's immersive production design. Add to that some rock-solid performances from the cast and of course Anirudh's music and background score which steadily carry the film's weight. Naveen Nooli's editing keeps the first half tight and densely packed, but that sharpness doesn't carry through to the second half. That could also be because the script starts to meander into predictable territory and doesn't fully capitalize on the rich setup established earlier. Kingdom is a chosen one story, nested inside a geopolitical spy thriller, wrapped inside a layered brothers drama. The first 20 minutes or so, until Suri, played by Vijay Deverakonda, accepts an undercover assignment, are absolutely top-notch in terms of craft, emotion and storytelling. Suri is a smart police constable in a humble town whose only driving force in life is to reunite with his brother Shiva, played by Satyadev, who's been missing for 17 years. This is a story rooted in the idea of a clan, of blood, of belonging. With every scene, the narrative takes meaningful strides forward. The emotional beats in this stretch are powerful. There's one moment in particular. Satyadev simply says, "Na tammudu," and it hit me like a wave. That emotional high carries through to the stunning high-angle shot that follows. Suri is sitting in a frothy pool of white tinged with blood. This film loves its high-angle and bird's-eye view shots, and most of them are spectacular. But the emotional grip loosens as the narrative gets tangled in espionage and the Sri Lankan cartel subplot. To be honest, the espionage element felt complex. I found myself confused about the exact roles of several characters, including Bhagyashree Borse's. Why is she protective of Suri? And how exactly did the gold find its way back to the Lankan cartel after that bridge sequence and the multiple police informers? At times, Kingdom feels like it's carrying more weight than it can handle. There's a character named Bhairagi who says, "We've seen too much for one day." And I found myself nodding in agreement. And just when the brotherly drama seems to lose its emotional hold, a clever reveal jolts it back to life. Speaking of which, the chemistry between Vijay Deverakonda and Satyadev is one of the film's strongest assets. This is a very confident outing for Vijay. His physicality, his understated look, it all fits the character. His shirts, like his purpose, are simple and solid. There's another character, Murugan. He is introduced as a borderline psychopath, but unfortunately ends up feeling like the stock variety we have seen in similar roles. And that's more of a writing issue than a performance flaw. The backdrop of the Sri Lankan cartel and the Telugu refugee community adds a layer of linguistic texture, blending Tamil and Telugu in the dialogue. It doesn't feel jarring, but the mix isn't entirely seamless either. Where Kingdom truly soars is in its visual language. A man single-handedly pulling an East India Company ship feels like something straight out of a manga. There's a shot with a dead man's chair placed across from a nearly dead man in a chair, and that's deadly. The intermission shot cleverly echoes an earlier moment in the film where children are placed at the center of a protective huddle, or one can look at it as juxtaposition as well. Along with the thematic and visual echoes within the film, some of the match cuts are also remarkable, like the one where Suri drinks directly from the bottle, which then cuts to a glass with alcohol in it. Kingdom starts off with a distinct identity, gradually loses its footing, and eventually settles into something generic by the end. So, the THR India bottom line is Kingdom delivers enough through its craftsmanship and strong performances to earn your time. All it needed was the same clarity and coherence in its narrative that it had at the beginning. For more such reviews, subscribe to The Hollywood Reporter India.